Welcome to the WNBA Draft.
I've decided to fulfill my lifelong dream and declare for the 2021 WNBA Draft.
Williams, a three, you bet! Oh my goodness. Nice dish, Westbrook and Carrington would have none of it.
Harry McDonald feeling it.
Hits a bomb.
With the first pick in the WNBA Draft.
The Stanford Cardinal, national champions in 2021.
The WNBA is entering its 25th season, and what better way to kick it off than with the 2021 WNBA Draft, where Texas' Charli Collier is believed to be the #1 pick in the draft tonight. We get to watch so many dreams come true. What a night it will be. But first, you've got to put up with us. That's right. We are back for season 2 of WNBA Hoop Streams. I am your host, LaChina Robinson, joined by the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo, looking sharp in the WNBA hoodie. Yes, popping off. And, oh, these kicks.
Pretty nice, right?
Oh, those are fire. Absolutely. We also have with us our former WNBA bubble insider, Holly Rowe, but she is out of the bubble. What's up, Holly?
25th anniversary, I'm out of the bubble, and I'm going to be in an arena near you. Even if we can't be in arenas, I'm going to force my way in because we are just so excited. I shouldn't say that. But I'm excited for us to be in arenas, seeing teams in person, and I'm excited for fans. 9 of the 12 franchises will get to have fans in the stands, and that's going to be so great. They'll see their players, their teams in person again, and we will be there to bring you all the action.
That's right, and if you're lucky, you get to see Holly Rowe on the sideline in an arena near you. So guys, we're back in the arenas. We've got some fire jerseys to talk about in a little bit, a crazy free agency period, but let's start with this draft, okay? Let's look at some of the top picks and really have a discussion about this #1. Now, at the top of the show, I did say Charli Collier is expected to go #1, but let's look at a couple of other players that ESPN experts have said are the top 10 in this draft. Charli Collier, Ari McDonald out of Arizona, Awak Queer, hope I got that right, Arella Garantes, Renaya Davis, Dana Evans, Kiana Williams, congratulations to the Stanford Cardinal, Jasmine Walker, Chelsea Dungy, and Natasha Mack. Now, whenever we get into the discussion of the #1 pick, there's a little bit more discussion this year than there usually is. I mean, let's be honest. There was not a lot of discussion about Breanna Stewart. Wasn't a lot of discussion about an A'ja Wilson. Only reason why I go to those two players is because that's where we ended last year's finals. But there's some around Charli Collier. Rebecca, I'll start with you. How do you feel about Collier at that #1 spot?
Well, that's kind of been the consensus all season long, is that Dallas would be picking Collier at the #1. And the difference between this year's draft and those that you mentioned with A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart, you knew those players were going to be superstars in the WNBA. That's something that's a little bit different this year. We don't know who the superstar is going to be, but absolutely Charli Collier brings a lot to the WNBA table. At 6'5", look at her frame. She has got a WNBA body, can finish inside, 19 points, 11 rebounds a game for a Texas team where she spent a lot of time on the perimeter. She's added this to her game over the course of the past 2 seasons, a pretty decent three-point shot. You see she's got a nice stroke and can become more consistent out there. What's impressive about her ability to rebound, mentioned it, 11 rebounds per game, is that she spent a lot of time in their offense away from the basket. Whether it's in the three-point line or out at the free throw line area, but still got really nice rebound numbers. So she's a player, when you look at her body, you think, all right, that is a player who looks like she's in the WNBA.
Yeah, upside is the word that comes to mind right away. And credit Vic Schaefer for putting her in spots on offense this year that we hadn't gotten to see her in previously, moving around the floor, showing that versatility. Holly, I know you have spent a lot of time getting to know Charli and watching her a lot. What are your thoughts on the 6'5" center?
Well, one of the things I really like about her is late in the season, when everybody kept saying she's going to be the top pick in the WNBA draft, we started seeing a lot of haters come out of the woodwork, people chanting overrated, overrated. And I just had a long conversation with Charli. She doesn't care. She is so focused on what's ahead for her. She said, I'm not a finished product yet. I'm willing to work. I want to be great. She improved that three-point shooting, as you see here, 33% this season. And she feels like she even has a better upside from there if she gets more opportunity. But what I really like is her mindset of, I'm good enough, I'm going to work to be even better, and I'm not going to let all these haters that were chanting overrated faze me in the least.
She is so mature, Holly. You hit the nail on the head. Like, even when she announced to you that she was going to leave early, because she did have another year on the table. Like, she could have gone back to school, did an exclusive with Holly, said she was going back to school. And it was during a time where Texas still had a lot of their season left. And so the maturity that she showed through that, I wondered if she could still play and stay focused. And, you know, she had some up and down moments, but I thought she handled that very well. The other thing that I think is fascinating about Charli as the number one pick is whenever you ask someone, well, then who is the number one pick? No one ever had an answer, right? Like, where's the debate if there's no one else's name in the pot? I don't know. Did you guys, was anyone else feel strongly about Charli Collier or another player at one?
Well, I think Ari McDonald made a real name for herself in the NCAA tournament, but her size is a question. Even though our current Rookie of the Year is a small guard, Crystal Dangerfield, I think that's a big question mark with Ari McDonald. But Awak Kuier is an international player that everybody wants to know about. She's 6'5", she can dunk. She's just an unknown at 19 years old. So she could be number one. She's somebody that people could talk about, but I just don't know if enough people know about her game.
And does it really matter? Dallas has 1 and 2. So
I mean, they're going to be in a wing
they're
jersey,
gonna be just
right?
fine.
How lucky is Dallas that they get 2 picks to get the number one pick right? You know, like everyone wishes they had that. Well, Holly, I mentioned the time that you spent with Charli Collier. Tell us a little bit more about Charli.
One of the top prospects in this year's draft, Charli Collier, grew up playing in the driveway with her dad in Texas. This year, she made a name for herself for the Longhorns, first team All Big 12. And she told me that her dad, a big man, 6'8", with the nickname Shaq, always taught her that whatever she did, go big and try to be number one.
Me, my father, my brother, we would always just play like ones. It was definitely fun times. I miss it.
Charli's love of basketball came from both parents. Her mother, Ponda, played center in high school and college. She also tried out for the WNBA in its inaugural season.
Our mutual love for the game, just basketball, was all in us. That's all we talked about. And so once we had our kids, we already knew what they should learn, what they should grow into.
I feel like them playing when they were younger really drive me. You know, I saw the pictures of my mom. I look just like her. My father, you know, have his personality and the way that he plays. They used to call my dad Shaq. He used to play like him when he was back at school, dominating. He would always be tired. And that's the thing that really struck out to me, because he wouldn't want to play basketball anymore. He wouldn't want to like do a lot of things. And I would ask my mom, is dad good? Is he okay?
I was in the hospital with him. He had gotten the biopsy results. And that was the date when we knew it was cancer.
I remember when he passed, and that was the hardest day of my life. I had to hear that and see that. But he was home.
Almost unexplainable, the pain that you have to go through, and then you still play basketball. I think she just found her energy and strength in doing that.
The drive before my dad passed and the drive now after he passed, his word lives with me every day.
There you go, a new career high for Charli Collier. She's been unstoppable.
I feel like freshman year or last year, I would have got frustrated if the double team came or if I turned it over. I feel like I'm more composed this year. It's just time for me to fulfill the next step in my life. It's God's plan, and I'm ready.
Being proud is an understatement. I don't even know the right way to describe how I feel about her.
She's a handful inside. She has the motor. She works really hard.
Several mock drafts for the WNBA. She is at the very top.
Everything that has happened, I would say, you know, your dad said that.
When he talked about WNBA, he was like, you're gonna be #1. He told me, he said, Charli, you're gonna be #1. He didn't say top 5, top 10 in the draft. He told me, you're gonna be #1. And I remember my father telling me that.
Stay right where you are because we will take you all the way to the top of the hour. That's right. The 2021 WNBA Draft is coming your way on ESPN and the ESPN app. Texas' Charli Collier is expected to be selected first. If that happens, Collier will be the first Texas player to be taken #1 overall in the WNBA Draft. So there is a consensus that Charli Collier is likely to go at that #1 spot, but take a look at 1 through 10 again because we've got to talk about some of the other draft prospects. I'm interested in spots 2 through 5 in particular and what you guys think. LaChina Robinson, Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe with you. And Rebecca, I will start with you. Once we get past Charli, who stands out to you in that next group?
Well, the player that stands out to me from the very beginning is Charli Collier, the 19-year-old. This is a player who has the upside to be the star of this draft. A young player, but she has so many tools. She is tall, she is long, she moves so well. She has effortless athleticism. She runs the floor beautifully, can finish inside, has range out to the three-point line, can put the ball on the floor and create for herself. At her size, she can get defensive rebounds and push the other way. She does not look like a 6'5" player. Kind of reminds me of a little bit bigger, a little bit longer college version of Chiney Ogwumike. She's just effortless with the way she moves, and at only 19, this is a player with a huge upside who, as I said, could be the star of this draft. And you just see it again. That is easy. She can dunk with one hand. She can dunk with two. Her length, her ability to move. She has great bounce as well. This is a special young player.
I mean, looking at her move on that clip, I just want to know what her wingspan is. I mean, her arms were looked like they were all the way to her knees. And that's something we talk about a lot, and I think people don't understand. Like, we'll start to talk about a WNBA player, and we'll say size, quickness, length. Like, their physical dimensions are very important at the next level. Like, those are the things that really separate you. But a walk is, out there looking like a unicorn. All right, Holly, 2 through 5. Tell me what you got. Who's someone that's on your radar?
Well, I was just going to follow up on a walk because I actually got a chance to Zoom with her and get to unofficially meet her. She's actually playing in the Italian Serie A playoffs right now. She will actually have a game tonight. She's going to have to hurry back from her game, shower, and get ready for the WNBA draft. So that's really cool. But she is so excited. This is a dream come true. She's 19 years old, and she's looking forward to dunking in a game. She said, I got to get my confidence up that when I get at breakaway, I'm going to throw down. So it's really fun to get to know her, and we welcome her into the WNBA. Okay. My other player that I wanted to talk about is Michaela Onyenwere from UCLA. She is a 6-foot player. Some people are calling her a tweener, but I think she has a pro-ready body in a lot of different ways. She's somebody that can score on multiple levels. She's expanded her three-point range, shot 33% from the three this season, and she's so big and strong. You know, we talk about that frame. I think she has shown that she can take it inside. I'm just curious, and I'd love to get your opinions on this. Where will she fit? What kind of position? She said, I take pride in being consistent and versatile. Those are two really big qualities to bring to the WNBA. And of course, her athleticism, I think that's something that GMs are really looking at as a positive for her.
Yeah, Holly, I don't know if there's a more powerful player at the wing than Onyenwere. And we actually talked to her last night. She came on our Twitter Spaces for ESPNW, and she said, coaches and GMs have said period point blank, you have got to develop your perimeter skill. You have got to move to that 3 position. She did play the 4 at UCLA out of necessity this year. Corey Close just didn't have enough pieces, but she took it on herself to work on that 3-point shot. I've heard the comparisons to Alicia Clark. You know, she's just someone who I think that frame and that body lends itself to success in the WNBA.
And that's the nice thing about the draft this year and really any year is that these rookies don't have to come in and perform right away. They can come in and have room to grow. You know, many of them won't start. They'll be able to come in and play minutes with starters. But this is a draft, as it has been the last couple of years, where players can come in, learn, grow. Onyenwere is a player who you project, you know, what is she going to look like 4 years down the road? She's going to look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, her physical dimensions, her brilliance, she's so smart, are all things I think that just add to her stock. All right, we will see where Michaela goes in all of this, but we also want to know about Aari McDonald, guys. I mean, what an NCAA tournament for Aari McDonald. I mean, can we please give this woman some respect, some love, especially because we're up here talking about how everyone's so long and tall and got wingspan, and we had a ball of fire in the NCAA tournament. So many WNBA teams are saying they want a point guard. Dana Evans is also there. How do you guys feel about that? Aari, Dana, pros and cons? Holly, I'll start with you.
I thought in person, Aari McDonald had way more speed than I even realized. She can get anywhere she wants to go on the floor. I saw her give people fits. I mean, we're talking about Kiana Williams, one of the great defenders. Anna Wilson, co-defensive player of the year in the Pac-12. She was blowing by them like they were standing still. I mean, she could get anywhere she wanted on the floor, and I think that's the thing that she brings to the table. She's improved at the three-point spot. She wasn't a terrific shooter from there all season long, but in the NCAA tournament, there was a stretch she was hitting over 50% of her threes. So I know she can do it if she puts the time in. And I actually spoke to her last night, and she said, you know what? I've got speed, nobody else does, and that's what she's going to rely on the league.
And I think one of the big things with Aari, too, is she's already a WNBA-ready defender, and the way she picks up full court for an entire game is remarkable. The way she defends at a high level for an entire game is remarkable. And Holly, the big question coming in was, you know, can she hit the three consistently? And in her career, she's only a 28% three-point shooter. And then she lit it up in the NCAA tournament, shot 48% from three at high volume throughout the course of the tournament and showed that she could do it. And one of the things I loved about her is her competitive spirit. She went out there and in many ways put her team on her shoulders at times. And Holly, you know, because you were on the Zooms with us throughout the tournament, the way her teammates spoke about her, they loved her. They loved playing with her. She's clearly the type of teammate that you want to be with you. And sometimes that isn't always the case when you have a high volume player. Her teammates loved her. She competed. Her coach loved her. She's going to do just fine in the WNBA.
And there are a lot of teams that need a point guard that I don't think they know they need a point guard. And this is just a little bit of my own take, right? So Atlanta, Indiana, you know, Dallas, some of those teams right in there. I think several of those teams could use another point guard option. I think Atlanta could, you know, someone that sets up the plays and kind of keeps everyone. I mean, they've got an explosive backcourt, but that organizing piece. I mean, if Julie Alamon comes back, not Indiana Fever, they do have some backup options. Lindsay Allen, Danielle Robinson, but can they shoot like an Aari or a Dana? You know, and then some of the obvious ones we've talked about, Chicago needing a point guard. Like, there's several teams. So we don't know where Aari's going to go. We don't know where Dana's going to go. But a lot of point guard love out here. Kiana Williams would be one of those as well. All right, so we talked about the draft, but there's a lot of ways that you can build your roster. And for the WNBA, what we've seen in the last couple seasons, it's been through free agency, and it has been wild. Guys, the movement, obviously the CBA being a big part of that. These players are getting paid. Some of them are going home. Candace Parker blowing back to Chicago. Natasha Howard going to New York. I mean, there's options all over the floor. Holly, what stands out to you in terms of free agency moves?
So you know I'm going with Candace Parker. That's somebody that we don't see this very often. One player who'd been with the single franchise for her entire career. She'd been playing for the LA Sparks since day one. This is like Kobe switching teams at the end. We just don't hear about it. But speaking to Candace Parker, she said, you know, you wake up one morning and you just know the time is right. I'm looking for a super motivated Candace Parker to go to Chicago. Number one, she wants to show out and put on a show for her city in front of friends, family, young girls who've grown up looking up to her. So I know that's important to her. But more importantly, she wants to win. I think she got frustrated at times with the pieces that would be put around her in LA and the coaching staffs that would be brought in. She wants a high level of basketball. She trusts James Wade and that Chicago Sky organization to make that happen for her. And listen, they already had such a good roster in place. This is a young team that we keep thinking is going to be that next step. And last year, injuries really hurt them. Azurá Stevens went out during the bubble with an injury, and that really set them back. Diamond DeShields has not been herself with an injury. So I think this addition of Candace is huge.
And if you're Candace Parker, you're nearing the end of your career. Who's closer to a championship based on what we saw last summer? Chicago, more so than LA. Rebecca, whose free agency moves stand out to you?
Well, a lot of teams made some really nice moves. New York would be one. Minnesota would be another that got better. Chicago, of course. And to me, the team that won is the team that got the one piece I think they need to win a championship, and that's the Las Vegas Aces. They were stacked last year and made it to the WNBA Finals, but their one weakness was the point guard position. Lindsey Allen started most of the season, Danielle Robinson coming in off the bench, and then during the playoffs, Danielle Robinson started. Well, neither of those point guards are really scoring point guards. Chelsea Gray is. Chelsea Gray is a perfect piece for this Vegas Aces team. Last year averaged 14 points, just under 5.5 assists a game. And where she can also help them is her ability to score and her ability to score from three. She's a career 39% three-point shooter. That is one area where the Aces were not high volume in terms of their three-point shot. And the big thing with Chelsea Gray as well is she is one of the best we have seen in the history of the WNBA at making huge shots late. We've seen her make them in the playoffs. We've seen her make them in the finals. I think this is the one piece Vegas needed to add to make their team a championship caliber team. And then, of course, they convinced Liz Cambage to come back after she had her medical exemption a year ago. And so that just makes this team, to me, one of the favorites to win the championship.
I like it. Candace Parker blowing home, Chelsea Gray playing bully ball with Bill Laimbeer in Vegas. I like the Minnesota moves with McBride and Aerial Powers. We will see what moves pay off and what WNBA teams end up in the playoffs. But tonight, it is about the draft. Get your popcorn ready because at 7 p.m. on ESPN, on the ESPN app, that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the 2021 WNBA Draft coming to you. If you're on the app, sign into your cable provider to see the future of the WNBA and where they are headed. All right, we've been talking about the WNBA, but let's go back to college women's basketball for a moment to tap into a hot topic. We witnessed great college basketball season, both on the women's side and the men's side. Two players that set the game on fire happen to be good friends and freshmen this season, UConn's Paige Beckers and Gonzaga's Jalen Suggs. We bring this up because one is eligible to declare to join his professional league, while the other has to wait 2 more years to join the pros. Paige Beckers, and we also had Caitlin Clark, who was fantastic. So that takes us to the big question. How do you feel about the eligibility rule on the women's side, Rebecca?
I like where it is. And there's a couple reasons why. Women in college, that's where you really build your profile and build your brand. I mean, let's be frank, your profile goes down a little bit when you get to the WNBA. I think the real solution is for the name, image, and likeness to pass, because players like Paige Beckers, players like Caitlin Clark, and the following that they have in their communities, they could benefit economically by staying in college, by growing their game, making money while they're still in college, but building their brand so that when they get to the WNBA, their games are ready, and also they bring their stardom to the league. And to me, that is the solution, because once you get to the WNBA, it's a shorter season, and then you disappear overseas where you can make a lot of money. It's not NBA money. So I think name, image, likeness, if that passes, these players can have the best of both worlds. They can benefit financially while they're still in college, building their brand. The WNBA benefits because they're building their brand and getting it ready for the league. And then they continue to grow their game, and they can continue to grow the game of women's college basketball. So to me, that is kind of the solution that could make everybody happy.
Yeah, let's be honest. Name, image, and likeness-wise, Paige Beckers would be blowing that away because she's got more followers than Sue Bird right now, which is just incredible. Like, how is Paige Beckers already the most popular women's basketball player? But the other thing you said, game ready, is important. The WNBA is a scary place to be for a freshman, I think. I think we're kind of not looking at how big that jump is sometimes from the college game to the WNBA, the pace, the strength, the quickness, the athleticism, all of those things. And not to say that Paige and Caitlin don't have that, but we don't want Paige Beckers to go to the WNBA early and then sit on the bench and have to develop. I would rather watch her in the NCAA tournament and watch her lead and continue to grow than her get into a league that she's maybe not ready for.
But also, without expansion, there's maybe 12 spots a year that are available to these players, maybe 12. Yeah. So you could leave early, get into a training camp, and then not make a roster. And that would not be good for the game in any way.
Yeah. Holly, bring us the wisdom.
Well, I agree with a lot of what you said. The name, image, and likeness is going to pass soon. These players will be able to financially profit. I think that if Paige Becker's brand is aligned with UConn, that's money in her pocket, and that's money she wouldn't be getting in the WNBA per se. Do you remember when Breanna Stewart stood up on the SB stage and said, I was shocked when I got out of college and didn't get covered the same? That's the reality. Their platform in college is bigger. Plus, you're talking about strength. I thought there were times late in the season in the NCAA tournament, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark, their physical frame wasn't strong enough against some opponents. That's in college. They've got to get bigger and stronger, and I think it's fine how it is. They don't need to leave early. Take advantage of everything you can get from these college programs. I think the men are in a very different situation. This is one discussion that it should not be equal.
Well, the good thing for us, Holly, is we will get to see Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark ball on the court next season.
I've decided to fulfill my lifelong dream and declare for the 2021 WNBA Draft.
Collier will take that and make that. Oh my goodness, Natasha Mack. Dana Evans hits a bomb.
You are watching the WNBA Hoop Streams pre-draft show, getting you ready for the 2021 WNBA Draft tonight at the top of the hour. Don't forget, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sign into your cable provider to watch on ESPN and the ESPN app. Last week, the WNBA announced all teams will have new Nike jerseys to celebrate the league's 25th anniversary. Look at these happy players. They are loving the new styles. They're lighter, more fit, and the aesthetics, incredible. Crystal Dangerfield looking like she had a little dress on there. Each team will have a Heroine Home, Explorer Road, and Rebel alternative version. But let's take a look at each team's Rebel or alternate jersey and see how we feel about them. Look at little, oh my goodness, Bierka's daughter's so cute. Okay, Atlanta guys, what do we think?
Love it.
Love. Dream with the star, I'm in. All right, next up. Chi-Town.
This is so nice. I love the color pop. I think that Nike did a really nice job. You see the shoulders are a little more narrow so people aren't having to tuck their bra straps in. The whole thing is more slim fit. I love it. It's hot.
Love it. All right, Connecticut Sun.
I like it. I like the colors. I like the style and the print around the outside. I like that one a lot.
I'm not in love with this one.
I could use more sun. I could use more sunshine.
Thank you. That's what it is, Holly. All right, next up, Indiana Fever.
Oh, I like that one. That one's nice.
Now, do you guys watch Stranger Things? This is the Stranger Things homage, and this one might be the most popular online. Everybody was really talking about this one because of that show that's filmed there in Indiana.
A+++. Las Vegas Aces.
Ooh, so clean. I like it. It's clean. It looks like a card. It looks like a queen of aces.
I like the diamonds at the bottom. That's a good touch.
Those diamonds, that is really cool. All right, we're all in for the Aces. And I love it all black, all white, clean. Okay, the Sparks.
I like it.
Pretty.
Me too. I like the down the side, the Sparks down the side. At least that's what we're going to say those are. Minnesota Lynx.
I love it. I like the musical, flair to it. I think that's a good looking jersey.
That's beautiful. 34, Sylvia Fowles. Hello. New York Liberty.
This could be my favorite. I love the equality in the Liberty font. I just think this one is perfect for New York.
And this color, I mean, is really
seafoam.
Not one you see often.
Back in the day, we had the little touch of seafoam on the New York Liberty jerseys.
Very true.
Okay, I love this one because the X is poppin', and that is for the X Factor.
Oh,
unbelievable fans in
Holly.
Phoenix. You go, X Factor. We're repping you on our chest.
Great.
I love that. Diana Taurasi's is already sold out, by the way.
Of course it is. This is BG. Seattle Storm. Did you think we were going to see a little weather here? I did.
I like this one. This is nice.
Rebecca likes everything.
They have a new designed logo too. I like their hoodies, everything. Okay, I think this one's one of my favorites
beautiful.
too. Rise.
Yeah, I mean, DC, the Rise, we're here for it. Shout out to the DMV. And Holly has one in studio.
I wanted to show you these details because the Rise, of course, across the chest, talking about everything they have done as a program, but then this striping, it has words of the Constitution.
That's amazing.
I mean, the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States. I mean, this has got a lot of thought put into it, and you know I really love it because they sent me one with my name on it. So I'm
your name and your age, Holly. How did they do that?
Yeah. And then Rebecca's got hers. Of course, I look like the nerd now because I don't have mine. She's got the Liberty. I've got my Asia Wilson at home. Didn't bring
Equality, love it. When we just turn that 2 into a 5, I'm all good. I'm ready to suit up and play.
5-0. I've also got the Aces here. I've got Asia's. You know I'm not sleeping on Asia.
That is great.
I will be wearing this. I've just decided to wear my jersey. You know, I used to not want to wear teams because you don't want to show favoritism to one team or another. I've decided I'm just going to rep everybody, and then that's equally fair, and we're going to rep our ladies.
Well, and I think you're the only person on this crew that could pull off the Taya Cooper look and make it a jersey dress, Holly. You're the only one that could do that. So we want to see that this summer. All right, so make sure you get your WNBA jerseys and get ready because right now we have the WNBA Draft on ESPN or the ESPN app. Jerseys popping. Hopefully you got your popcorn. Congratulations to all the women who are about to be drafted, and we are looking forward to the next step in your career. Thank you to our producers. For LaChina Robinson, Holly Rowe, Rebecca Lobo, we will see you actually in like 2 seconds on your television screen.